So today I have my disruptive friend here. Isn't that right, Sky? Good. So today I want to talk about grief. Let's talk about grief and what I'm noticing myself. Oh, is that is there a massive amount of collective grief?
What? Something?
There's a massive amount of collective grief, and I think there's a lot of people who are taking this grief on. There's a lot of people who are getting overwhelmed by this grief. And yeah, it's grief is one of those emotions, especially for men, which is really, really hard to process. Because as a man, we're not shown how to deal with grief. And the question is, what is grief? You know, it's a for me, myself, grief is this layer of deep sense of sadness, deep sense of loss. Also, there's a loss of what's going on with the planet, the disruption, the war. There's so much. There's so many layers to grief, and I myself have had this constant battle, or is battle the wrong word? Constant constant push and pull with grief. And even now I struggle sometimes to feel and to deal with my grief. And it took me many, many years to start to even consider dealing with it. And for me, I even struggle still now. Struggle to cry. I might cry for like 10, 15 seconds and then it suddenly stops. It's almost like it's a program. But I feel like there's a lot of collective grief out there. And my feeling into it in this exact moment is that we don't need to hold all this grief. Now, for me, how do I distinguish between what is my grief and what is everybody else's grief? And the question is, especially for these empaths, people who take on these emotions quite easily, the question I ask myself is this: is this grief mine? And if it's a no, then I ask myself, do I need to feel or hold this grief? And again, if the question is no, I ask myself again, can I let it go? These three questions are super powerful. And I think there's some people here who can, including myself, who can transform this collective grief. So sometimes I personally take on a lot of emotion, especially from other people and other situations. And I feel it's down to not necessarily me feeling it, but for me to transmute it. Now, I've had the honor and the privilege to be able to work with dragon energy. So using the dragon energy and fire, I can transmute any collective grief which comes through me, or any collective emotion which isn't mine to own. And I feel as though there's a sense of just allowing, because with grief, like any emotion, is just energy. Energy cannot be created, nor can it be destroyed, but it can be changed and transmuted into something better and given back up to the universe. And so I can use my dragon energy to transmute that collective grief that's come through me. Don't get me wrong, there is some grief that I will have to allow myself to feel and to be in discomfort with, and that's okay. Recently, recently lost my nan, so there'll be some grief there to feel with regards to that. But for me, there's this feeling that, do we have to suffer? Do we have to really hold on to all this grief that's going on in the world? All this grief that of killings, of war, of repressed grief. Do we have to feel it all? Because my take around that is that if that's the case, then we're going to spend a whole lifetime feeling grief. Or can we allow ourselves to transmute and let this grief go? And I'm not saying it's going to go. I feel like when I transmute the grief, it's transformed into something better. Yeah, my furry friend seems to have disappeared. Yeah, that's all I need to really say. I just feel like I've just seen a lot of what's going on in the world, and yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming up. So yeah, have a good day.